What's up, everyone? As I think most of us predicted, this past weekend didn't result in a victory for Orange County Soccer Club, but it was cup play. And historically, we don't do great in cup play, but we're back to the USL championship season play this coming weekend in a big match in Santa Ana at the stadium in Santa Ana, trying to pack the house. Hopefully y'all have your tickets. Let's get right into this. We'll talk about that match and everything else. Welcome to the Show of Champions. This is the Orange and Black SoccerCast. How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black SoccerCast, the first and only show dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Sabora. I'm here to take you through this journey as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. Helping me out this episode, we've got Dylan. Dylan, how are we doing?
We're here. I think I'm excited. I'm glad we get to talk to Coach Stone this week, because I think maybe people are starting to panic, and I don't think we're there yet. But you know, it's another Tuesday. We've been doing this for almost 8 years now, almost 8 years, right? We're coming up on that now. So there's a little more gray in my beard these days, but I still find myself talking to you.
Mathing is hard for Dylan, but maybe it's not as hard for our other co-host for the evening. That is Mr. Matt Elder. Matt, is mathing hard for you?
It's one of my stronger subjects, but you know, I figure it out.
We'll teach Dylan what 2026 minus 2018 equals, and we'll get an accurate answer there. But let's get right. You like words. You don't like numbers. Let's get right into the talk here, because Orange County in the USL Cup, the branded Prinks Tires USL Cup, they went and traveled out to, I guess, a very windy locale out there in the Valley of the Sun to face Phoenix Rising. They go up in the first half. They go up first. They were up 1-0, and then they concede 2 unanswered goals to fall for the second time in this competition. Pretty much, basically, we know now the fate for Orange County in this competition. So it'll be interesting to see how the club lines up in the remaining matches for the USL Cup. Dylan, your thoughts on this match? Was there anything that surprised you from Orange County, or did it go as you expected?
I don't think I necessarily expected that we'd lose. I just didn't think it was going to be the best performance. I think with how the cup is laid out, once you don't get a good, it's like the Club World Cup. You don't get one good result to start things, and it kind of just doesn't really matter. I imagine as a player, it's probably pretty difficult to motivate yourself for that in that situation. All the same, this really gives us a chance to rotate even more. I think last year, we looked at the last match in the cup against Oakland, and we all just kind of assumed it wasn't going to go anywhere. But in fact, Orange County did pretty well. Like, the kids showed up and showed out. So not the best performance on earth. I think there are some players who had some options that maybe they'd hope to get back. But I think Danny Stone probably had plenty to take away from this match about who he can reliably look forward moving on.
Let me ask you, Matt, because there's a long-standing sort of rivalry between these two clubs, and although this is what I think many of us have talked about as sort of a afterthought competition for teams like Orange County, really it's the third tier of what you're hoping to compete in. Whenever you play Phoenix, there's maybe a little extra spark. Is there any frustration on your end that we lost to Phoenix, or is it the same as what we've been talking about this competition? And let's just move on. Who cares?
Yeah, I lean more towards the latter. I do have a not the great best feelings for Phoenix. Don't get me wrong. but it does kind of highlight the fact that we don't have like a true, real rival. Because in a game like that, it'd be one of those, I don't care what the competition is, preseason game, whatever. Like, I want you to beat them. I think maybe it points to how much I don't, especially after losing, how much I don't care about this cup. That it doesn't sting that much, even if it's Phoenix. Yeah, I can't really be too bothered with it.
Do we think
performance was fine? As I've said, almost every game I feel like that I've been on this podcast this year. Feel like I haven't seen a performance yet that has been great, nor one that's been horrible. So, and we're winning okay amount of games, so I feel fine.
Everything's fine.
Dylan, you were gonna go ahead.
Yeah, I got a question for you. Do you think 5 years ago this would be different? I mean, I distinctly remember caring a lot more about Orange County played against Phoenix, and now I feel fine.
Yeah, a little bit. I it definitely would have stung, especially 5 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, when it was right in the aftermath of the 2018 fiasco. But I don't know. Like I said, if it was the Open Cup, I'd probably feel a little differently. It would still have that extra sting with it being Phoenix. The rivalry has calmed down a little. Like I said, it's a shame that we don't have like a proper one. It's kind of probably our biggest rival, I would say, at this point. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's still stings. It's still that little extra sting. You know what I mean? You never want it to be Phoenix, but in this cup, it almost cancels that out, I would say.
I mean, it's hard when you don't have a true geographical rival, right? I mean, you look at Phoenix, they're the rival because of what happened in 2018, and the longstanding both these teams have tended to be competitive in the Western Conference year in and year out. There's been some years where one is good, the other isn't, but for the most part, they've been some of the more successful teams in the Western Conference. You can probably loop in Sacramento to that. When you're looking at some of the local teams, I guess the disappointment with that, where San Diego folded. I know LA Galaxy wasn't, I guess, a true rival because I don't feel like they ever took the competition as seriously as, say, Orange County would have. But yeah, it does sting a little bit when it's Phoenix. I think anyone that wasn't a fan prior to 2019, probably it's not as hard. But the ones that were involved in that Western Conference final in 2018 and some of the heated battles after that, it really is difficult. Was there any positives, Dylan, that you saw from Orange County in this match that you want to talk about here?
I just want to take a second and say, hey, Jameer Johnson, what a finish. It's not always a guarantee to put those away, even if you are one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And I think he showed a good amount of maturity and composure to not just snatch at it and send it wide or over the bar. So well done. And it kind of shows that we have a whole host of youth products that aren't just youth products, but actually like very good players who can do a job on a Saturday night.
Perfect. Let's do this. We're going to talk a little bit more about this match and the upcoming match, but we do have a guest that we want to bring onto the show. So let's just get right into this. It's a nice early appearance for a guest, but we love it anyways. The guest for this episode is a head coach for your Orange County Soccer Club, Coach Danny Stone. Coach, welcome back to the show. How are things going for you in the aftermath of the second loss in the USL Cup and heading into the big Santa Ana match for the club?
Yeah, things are good, thank you. We're training hard this week, and we're feeling in a good place. Looking forward to the game this weekend. I think it will be a fun occasion, a different occasion for the club, and we're in a good place from a training point of view, and we're ready for the weekend, and can't wait to get out there to Santa Ana and play in front of some obviously existing, but potentially, hopefully, some new fans as well, in a different part of Orange County. And yeah, we're really excited for it. Looking forward to the day.
Yeah, a big question I want to ask on this is, are there any concerns or worries that this is a different surface for the team? You don't typically play on the stadium here, and it's in the middle. It's squeezed in between a bunch of road matches. So there's almost this thought process where this might feel a little bit more like an away match even though you have the home fans there, it's a different pitch, it's a different atmosphere, it's a different feeling. How are you going about preparing the team and the players for what is a home match but might not feel like a true home match?
Yeah, absolutely. It's certainly going to be different for us. I think probably what we're probably looking forward to most is the fact that, like I said, we can make this feel like a home game for ourselves in the way that we operate, in the way that we welcome the fans into the stadium. And yes, it's going to be a new location. Yes, a different stadium. And no doubt the field will be different, and we'll adapt to that as best we can for the match. But I think again, it's on us really to make it feel like a home occasion, and that's of course starting with the team, myself, the coaching staff, and the players, and then we're really looking forward, like I say, to making it hopefully a day to look forward to and to remember. And we have nothing but good feeling towards it. Yes, it's part of a different set of games for us here in the middle of the season, with a lot of away fixtures in a row, and yeah, it's a different location, but certainly we're looking forward to getting back in front of the fans and turning it into a great positive, we hope, for ourselves.
Obviously, the recent matches, there's been some mixed results. Recently, obviously, the most recent was the USL Cup in Phoenix. But again, we talked about a lot of road matches here that have been happening and will continue to happen. What kind of toll does that take on the mentality, the mental aspect, the physical aspect of the players, the coaching staff, everyone involved with all the travel going on for the team?
Yeah, I like to, but when we have these kind of situations, and I like to just be very clear about it with the team. I think it's there's no getting away from the fact that we have a lot of games away from home, or all back to back, really, over the course of 2.5 months, and it's going to be a difficult stretch of fixtures, no question. Anytime you play away from home in USL, it's a tough game, and so of course having a lot of games back to back away from home is a difficult prospect for us. Now, at the same time, that doesn't mean that we shy away from that. It doesn't mean that we frame it in any other way except to say it's a challenge for us. And there's lots of different circumstances that come up during a season where you can choose how to approach it. You can choose to approach it in a positive way. You can choose to approach it and frame it as the challenge that it no doubt will be. But at the same time, I have very, very strong positive feelings towards the group of players that we have that have so far this season shown very good ability in the league to gain points away from home. And the challenge will be to find a way to be consistent and carry that on and gain points away from home in a difficult stretch. Band together, stick together, stay together, make ourselves as difficult to play against as possible, travel well, look after each other well. On the staff, of course, to prepare the players physically, mentally, tactically for the games ahead. And then the players' job is to be a great professional during this time, is to do their part, to look after their bodies as well as they can, to approach the games with a competitive, professional spirit and mentality towards each game. And, sometimes it feels a little cliche to say it's one game at a time mentality. That's absolutely the truth. And especially when you travel away from home, it's you box it off and you get on with it, and you go, and like I say, we compete hard, and we've shown so far this season, I think, a really positive away from home mentality, and being a team that's been able to gain points away from home, and that's certainly something that is part of the challenge ahead of us, and obviously we look to continue that, and hopefully we can. But again, one game at a time, one trip at a time. And we do everything that we can from our side to control what we can, and then we get out there and we compete hard.
I have another question or two, but I'm going to hold off and I'm going to defer to my co-host before I ask those questions. So I'm going to hand it off to Matt.
I think I'm actually jumping in here. Sorry, Matt.
Oh, Dylan, go for it.
We're all over the place, Danny. I'm sorry. It's been a mixed bag of late, but kind of gauging maybe more of the online reaction to things. Again, it's a mixed bag. Results maybe haven't been the best over the last couple of weeks, but we are ultimately second in the league as it stands. Do you have a message for the fans or even just kind of for the league and the situation where things feel a little bit doom and gloom?
Well, I certainly wouldn't say things are doom and gloom. We're second in the league, and we've, like I say, we've done a lot of good things so far this season. So I don't feel that way at all. I don't think anything internally feels that way. We've put ourselves in a very good position. Played more games, in the early part of the season, and then we speak about away form. And I think one thing I really challenged the team to improve on this year was our ability and our form away from home from a points perspective. And I think so far we've gained 8 points, I believe, away from home so far this year. I think last season we totaled 10 points away from home. So I've been very pleased with the team's mentality and ability to go and gain points in difficult places. And the league itself gets more difficult every season that I'm involved in it, which is many years now. And there's no place we go where it's an easy game, and there's no team we face that is a comfortable time, and it shouldn't be. That's a great thing for the league. But I think certainly, there's a lot of different ways of viewing things, and for sure, from my perspective, and I think from a team perspective, we feel very positive about where we are, and that's really all that we can control. Like I said, we look after ourselves, and we train well, and we have high standards of ourselves, and we want to meet those standards, and that's part of the challenge day in, day out. We know that no season for any team is smooth sailing all the way through. There's going to be times of challenge. There's going to be times where we have to overcome some adversity. There's going to be times where we have to respond to disappointments. That's normal in sport. It's normal as a professional team. But like I say, from our side, we're in a good place. We're competing hard. There was some rotation, of course, and some players that didn't make the trip last weekend, and that's those are some choices and some situations that we felt were best for players from a recovery point of view, to have the team in as good a place as possible for the longer term as well as for an individual game. But look, it gives other players opportunities. It gives minutes to players. It gives opportunities to young players who played good minutes in the game against Phoenix, and that's something I think in the long term that will only be a positive. So again, from our side, we're in a good place. We're second in the league. I don't think there's any reason for anybody to be anything but positive about what the season can look like. And now the task, like I said, is for us to keep going in that track and to remain positive and to remain together as a team, as we've shown over the last couple of seasons. It's a long season, and it ebbs and flows. We're aware of that, and I think the reality, certainly internally, is we understand what the season ahead looks like, and we stay the course. We remain level, and we keep pushing each other, and we again try to maintain and achieve the standards that we've set for each other internally as a group.
I kind of love this. You just mentioned positivity and meeting standards. So after 10 league matches, you feel free to play favorites here, but which of your players has exceeded your expectations and standards thus far?
It's always a difficult question, that one. I mean, it's I think probably I would say the team. I mean, look, you can throw this back at me as a standard answer if you want to, but I feel probably to this point, as a team, we've collectively got to the position that we are in. I don't necessarily think it would be the right thing for me, or maybe the correct thing for me to say, look, it's one player, it's this player, it's that player. I don't believe that. I think everybody plays an important role. I think everybody has contributed to where we are so far in different ways. It depends which angle you want to look at it from, I suppose. I think we've kept a good amount of clean sheets in the league this season, and that people will point to goalkeeper and backline, and rightfully so, they will get praise. But that, in reality, is an 11-player on the field task every time we play. And so, again, I know that that can sound a little cliche sometimes, and it's certainly not intended to avoid the question. But I don't feel at the moment that it's the correct answer to say that we have individual standouts. I think it's been a team collective mentality. And to be honest, I prefer it that way. And of course, every individual is going to have to play their role, and we'll need big moments from individuals as we go through the season. but certainly the team will be the priority, and the team will come before anything else. And so I'm pleased to be able to say that at this point, because I think that will be in the long term what will eventually carry us through to success.
I won't hold it against you. Thank you, Danny. Matt, all you.
All right, a little bit of a long-winded one to start with, but something that is not at all specific to you, but something I've frustrated me over the last 10 years with Orange County is how away form tends to go, which we expect a little bit of that. But I've always felt like we're not going into Anfield or, Stamford Bridge or a Cauldron like that. And so do you think it's travel or tactical, or because sometimes it feels like we go for a draw when not again specifically to you or to this team, just more of a general thing that I've seen over a long time. It feels like sometimes we don't capitalize when we're maybe the favorite team, or we feel like we should be able to go for it and win it, and we don't. We get the draw or we lose. What are your thoughts on the kind of the away travel or the away form that teams tend to have in the USL generally, and then kind of with our team?
I think anybody that is involved with USL and is part of a team on those away trips will tell you that it's a very difficult league to travel in away from home. It's, there's flights obviously involved, sometimes 2 flights to get to places, time zones, of course, different surfaces within the league to play on, different types of stadiums. I mean, the last couple of away games we've had in Sacramento and in Colorado are 2 tough places to go and play. Is good atmospheres. The home stadium, home crowd are loud and are very, very supportive of their team, as they should be. And it's a difficult atmosphere to go and play. And you look at somewhere like Colorado, you add the altitude in, like I say, different conditions, different surfaces to play on. It is not easy. And so I think sometimes to look at the game just in its 90-minute form maybe doesn't quite truly tell the whole picture. And that's not specific to Orange County necessarily. That's obviously across the league. It's difficult for everybody. And so I think that definitely plays a big factor. Going away from home, of course, is a different proposition. I think, again, if we look at the last couple of away games that we've had, I think we've been involved with 2 good games there. I think the Sacramento game was an exciting game. We miss a penalty kick early on. They score from a penalty kick in a strange situation late on, and we still have an excellent chance after that to go and win the game. And the same thing in Colorado last week. It's a great strike in the 96th, 97th minute that equalizes, and we again push, and we have a great chance to go and win it after that before the final whistle. So, for as far as speaking for our team at this moment, I certainly don't feel like the players are backing away from those challenges. And I think in all of those games, we're giving ourselves good opportunities and good chances to win those games. And the intention is always to go to win and to claim 3 points. Now, it's not just that simple. It's not just that easy to say, this is what we're here for. Let's go home with that. There's always a team on the other side that are trying to stop us doing everything we want to do. And our job is to try and stop them. And it's, no 2 games are the same. But I've been pleased with the team in the last couple of away games in that, like I said, we probably feel a little frustrated that we haven't taken more points than we have out of the Sacramento and the Colorado games. But I'm very pleased with the team in that we've given ourselves good opportunities to do that. And I think that's a real positive. And like I say, all the way to the end of those 2 league matches, we had I think very good chances in the last minutes of games to potentially come away with more points than we did. And yes, there's a frustrating element to that we weren't quite able to do it, but it is in no way indicative of a team who is not trying to come away with 3 points for sure. Gotcha.
Yeah, my other question would be, considering the unfortunate format of this cup, with the USL Cup, things are, it's a pretty tough uphill climb for us to have a chance to advance at this point. Do you see it as a good opportunity to give some of the younger players a go and get a Tyson in there and Jameer and those guys a lot more minutes in those types of competitions and kind of get them a little more ready for the business end of the season?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you've seen that's been the case in the first couple of games as well. Obviously, Apollo also starts the first game, and unfortunately, then is suspended, of course, for the Phoenix game. Tyson gets good minutes. Efren gets good minutes. Jameer gets good minutes. We have Oliver Koenig comes on to finish the game. Nicola Chiota comes on and finishes the game as well. We, certainly this past weekend in Phoenix, we had a very good group of young players who gained, again, valuable experience for themselves and had an opportunity in the game. And yes, it's a good opportunity for us to give those players chances and to give those players minutes. And like I say, in the long term, I think these are good situations. These are good learning lessons for the players as well. And yeah, for sure, those players will be asked to contribute, of course, important minutes and play in important games outside of this competition and through the league games. So it's all part of their process. It's all part of them being ready to really contribute as a full-time professional player. And it's again, I've spoken about this many times. I think last time I was on the show with you guys, we touched on this as well. It's a process, it's a journey. It doesn't happen in a straight line for those young players. And sometimes they need the setbacks and they need the adversity and they need to feel sometimes a little bit of pain along the way in order to respond and also to learn about themselves and to fully appreciate what it takes to be a professional player. So that's part of the journey I think we're on with them right now. But again, we push them hard, we work with them as well as we possibly can, and we give them those opportunities. And then it's their side matters to take those chances and to show that they are ready and deserving to play more minutes and to, like I say, they will be called upon to be part of, as they have already been this season, to be part of, games throughout the course of the season in league play and in cup play. And that's an important thing.
Yeah, I was really impressed to see Tyson kind of come back into it and look good and didn't shirk away from anything despite the mistake he made a couple games ago. He looked strong, looked like he was right back in it and kept his head up and had a great performance. So glad to see that. Yep. Last question, fun one. Is Tottenham going down?
I don't think so.
I love that answer.
Short answer. I don't think so, no.
Let me ask you, I have a quick statement or a quick comment, Danny, because Dylan asked you that tough question as the coach to have to, say, hey, this player is the player that's doing great. Don't worry about everyone else. I'm going to throw my thought on there and correct me if I'm wrong. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season, Mo War is going to contribute the way he has as a defender, I would have said, no, this is April Fool's Day. You're lying to me or something like that. Because he's been a standout for me as far as being able to adapt to a new position and be productive and being very strong. And I probably am assuming that you probably love it because now you have multiple options and tactically you can change things as needed between him and a Grayson Duty and others in that position. Is that a fair statement? I guess if you're not answering it, I'm answering it for you. Does that sound like a fair statement?
No, it's absolutely a fair statement. And look, I've spoken a few times this year about Mo. I think he's performed very well through the season this year, and I think he's. You rightly say he's adapted extremely well to what is a new full-time kind of position for him through the season so far to this point. We did utilize him there to finish the season last year through the playoff games. So he had a brief taste of it towards the back end of the season, and we knew with some of the traits that Mo has as a player that we felt he could adapt to that, and we felt he had parts of his game that would lend themselves to, once he became more comfortable and spent some time in that role and learned the position a little bit more, that some of those attributes that he has as a player would lend themselves to making him a highly competitive player in that position. I think we've seen that from him so far. So certainly for Mo, it's a very fair statement that you make here. He's done very well so far this season. We're very pleased now to, of course, have Grayson back in healthy and back in training now with the group for the last sort of 5 or 6 weeks or so, and playing some good minutes over the course of the last month. And it's great to have him back as well after a long injury setback. And I think in the games he's come back into in the last couple of weeks, especially, Grayson also has done very well. So it's nice to have, yes, of course, a couple of very good options there to select from, and both of those players will remain to be very important in that position. And yeah, it's a fair statement you make, and certainly, I think Mo would be the first to say he's learned a lot in that position so far this year, and credit to him. He's taken that opportunity with both hands and has performed very, very well.
And one last quick question, and then we want to let you on your way so you can prep for the match this week. Obviously we've talked a lot about this, about the road trip that's coming up. We've already had some matches. You have the home match, and then you have 7 matches. One of them is a USL Cup match, but 7 matches on the road. You're not back home again until August 1st. That's a long stretch. Being realistic and letting our putting our fans in a good expectation of where do you see the club come that August 1st match where you're like, we're in the perfect position now for the home stretch of the season after that long road trip. Where do you see that being a good spot?
I mean, what I would say is I think, again, we've shown so far this season that we are capable of going away from home and competing and gaining points. Our challenge is, like you say, I think it's 10 out of 11 games that are on the road in this stretch. And it's a lot of away games, and it's going to take a very resolute and very steely kind of set of players from a mentality point of view for us to go through that stretch and to continue to gain points. And I have no doubt with the players that I see in the building, in the dressing room every day, and I have the benefit of being with them day in, day out when others don't have the luxury of seeing that. I don't worry about us in that regard. I feel very positive about it. I think we have strong characters, and I think, probably remaining healthy is going to be one of the most important pieces to that, because, we're going to need strength in numbers. We're going to need, like I say, good contribution from many players during that time. And I think if we come through this stretch of away games and get to kind of the back end of July, like you say, then the task for us and the goal for us is to keep picking up the points that we've shown that we're capable of so far this season. So rather than me give you a specific position in a table where we think we will be or could be or should be, I think it's probably more appropriate for me to say we carry on in the vein that we have shown so far this season in our away performances and our away form, and continue to make that. Like I said, it was a real challenge for us at the beginning of the season that I posed to the team, where we knew we needed to improve from last year. I think credit to the group, we've done that so far, and the challenge now is to continue this. So, look, if we speak again in a couple of months' time and we're somewhere in a similar kind of area that we are currently as we speak today, then of course we're going to be very happy with that. That is the goal. That is the target. That's what we set the standards out to go and achieve that. And again, one game at a time, one trip at a time, keep players as healthy as possible, and then go and get after it every day, every game, and compete hard and try to take points everywhere we can.
There we go. Everyone, I want to thank Coach Danny Stone for taking some time to speak with us on this episode. Danny, can I just apologize for Matt if he earns you any West Ham enemies or hate mail that you get for that? Please, I apologize for that with that question he asked. And also make sure you rack up those air miles so you can get some free flights for your next family vacation. Coach Stone, thank you as always. You have a wonderful week of prep for the match this Saturday.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. And listen, I said nothing negative about West Ham. I was simply asked if I thought Tottenham would stay up. That was all.
Well, obviously we know the obvious return answer when that's the answer there. So perfect. Thank you so much, Coach. You have a wonderful weekend. Best of luck to the lads out there on Saturday.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
Have a great one. Whew, look at Matt. You're trying to create some enemies for our head coach there. The few West Ham fans.
I just wanted to
listen to our show.
I just wanted a professional opinion,
Really quick. Let's. I know we were sort of in the middle of talking about the Phoenix match. We'll wrap that thing up. If there's any last comments that either of you have on that match before we move on to the big match this weekend in Santa Ana. Dylan, do you have any last thoughts that you want to share about the Phoenix match?
This was a frustrating one, but let's kind of follow Coach Stone's lead and let's just move on to the next one and focus on what can be changed as opposed to what is done.
Perfect. Matt, any last thoughts?
Yeah, no, it's one of those ones where had we won it, it would have been important, or, one where like, okay, cool. Let's kick on, see if we can still make it through the group stage of the cup. Now play the kids, have some fun, beat AV Alta.
Here's my thought on, and this is just not just Phoenix on its by itself, but it's all the losses and close matches so far this season is I feel like at least this season, there hasn't yet been a match where I'm like, man, like that was just like, we got destroyed. Even the matches we're not looking the greatest, we're staying competitive. We're keeping it close. And in some of those where we haven't looked the better team, we've snuck away with a point or even 3 points. So I just want to make sure, like, I know some people are really nervous about what we're seeing, but we're right now sort of showing that regardless of how we play on the pitch, we're staying competitive in matches and we're giving ourselves opportunities each and every match to either get the win that we deserve or sneak away with some points in a match, which I think ultimately when you look at a long season like this, that's all you want to see is you want to just see your team have a position, but have themselves in a position to have results week in and week out. One of those results we are hoping to see is the big home match in Santa Ana this coming weekend as Orange County host Oakland Roots. We've seen these types of matches in the past. We actually spoiled Sacramento's big match at their, packing a stadium and all that. We're hoping we actually are successful on our end when we do something like this, but the hope is to pack the stadium. I forget. I heard it somewhere. I read it somewhere. I can't recall what the max capacity is officially for Eddie Westfield. Can either of you remember that number or have an idea of what that number is?
Around 10,000, give or take.
Okay. I think it's 9 technically, but that's around 10. I'm good enough at math to know that.
I would assume probably like 9,000 seats. And then if Orange County can get approval for some standing sections because I think it's like a traditional, almost like what you'd see at producer Andy. We're going back to his original name, producer Andy. Welcome on the show.
Just confirming that the official capacity is 9,000.
I can't hear you, but 9,000 what?
It's hard to hear.
I guess it helps if my mic's in front of my face. Thanks for your patience. I'm not used to this. So anyway, I was just confirming that that's the official published capacity. It's probably somewhere around there. I bet there's not
What's
exactly
the
9,000.
Okay.
9,000. Yeah, my assumption is they count the seats, and I mean, they probably don't have many opportunities to sell more than what is the seating capacity at that stadium. I could be wrong. Who knows? But I would assume Orange County is doing whatever they can, working with the proper authorities to see what can we do to pack that stadium if we have some standing rooms, standing spots for people that don't get a seat, but they can come in the stadium and watch live. I know they're rolling out all the bells and whistles. I think what I heard, I haven't been following a lot of it, so I apologize, and I'll rely on Matt and Dylan if you know any more. But I know they're doing like free salsa lessons before the match at the stadium. The interesting thing I want to see is the food aspect of things, because obviously there's I think a little less space for some of the aspects of food that Orange County has at Championship Soccer Stadium, as far as like food vendors, the trucks that come out and stuff like that. So that'll be very interesting to see what that setup is. I also want to preface, you probably have to be prepared if you are heading to this match, that the parking structure that is right across from the stadium, believe you're going to have to pay for parking at that stadium. We're so spoiled with free parking at the Great Park. So be prepared if you're going to the match to pay for parking, and reminder that it is in more of a city area. Santa Ana is basically the city of Orange County. And so there's not like ample parking lots, street parking, supermarkets or shopping centers where you can go just park your car and walk. More than likely you'll have to park in the structure. So just be prepared for that as well.
Just a reminder, more to myself than other people, bring cash, street dogs after the game. I'm so excited. I'm buying at least 3 or 4. And then before the game, I'm not interested at all, Ray, to be honest with you, with what's going on inside the stadium as far as food goes. I will be absolutely mashing some street tacos before the game. And then after the game, street dogs, 100%.
Here's an inquiry for me is, what in the event of a celebration because of an awesome victory, this will be the sort of the first opportunity, either pre-match or after match. Orange County fans actually have some options of what they can do in the area. You can walk 5-10 minutes down to 4th Street, and there's a bunch of stuff to do down there. There's a few other locations nearby the stadium. It's going to be a very interesting and fun feel. I remember our Dylan and I and a few of the other members of CLC traveling up to Reno and experiencing a bar right across the street from the stadium. Matt was there as well, I believe.
I guess not.
I apologize. It was so long ago. I couldn't remember. I knew there were some members of CLC there.
Okay. But it was not your strong suit. Math apparently is.
It was fun to experience that, literally a bar across the street there where you can actually go hang out, have fun, drink a little, and then walk to the stadium. Now, I don't think
there's Tampa as well. Best by far the best setup in the soccer world that I've had as far as your options to go after a game.
I don't think it's quite that close. I don't think it's quite that close in Santa Ana. There's a little bit of walking involved, but you're still in an area where there's options, which will be cool. So I'll be interested to see how that plays out pre-match, after the match, especially if it's a big victory for Orange County Soccer Club. Nice. And there's a lot of other stuff that's been coming out from the social media for Orange County. They're really trying to get heavily involved with stuff for this match, as many of you on social media may have seen. I haven't seen much of it. Thanks to producer Andy for grabbing some screenshots and sharing stuff. Let's talk about the match really quick. Dylan, what are your thoughts on this match? Are the home fans are you gonna be able to predict that they're gonna have a great night, a fun night, and leave happy?
Am I able to predict that? I mean, I'll predict it. I don't know if it's going to come true. Unfortunately, whatever comes out of my mouth tends to not really have an impact on what happens on the field. I'm grateful for that personally. I would not want to deal with that sort of responsibility. Ultimately, I think, and Danny Stone mentioned it, you go to Colorado, you go to Sacramento, for better or for worse, those crowds can boo you or they can kind of drown you. Orange County has a really great chance to do something special here. Do something different, and hopefully everyone's in a celebratory mood, because ultimately, it's a chance to do something special, and it's a chance to probably remind the roots of what things could be. They play in a rather cavernous area in the county of Alameda. Ultimately, I think the crowd is going to play a pretty big part in this one. I think that's the only thing. But all the same, I'm hoping for 3 points and a start to a good run.
What about you, Matt? What are your expectations in this match, both atmosphere and on the pitch?
I think the atmosphere should be fun. I'm curious that we've had a lot of promo that's been really awesome to see, and stuff that's the billboards on the 55, and even my uncle, who's I've heard it on Mexican radio, them kind of selling tickets to the game or kind of shouting it out. So really hoping to see if how we do as far as it. I mean, I would take even just a normal home crowd, a 5,000, 4,000 to 5,000 people. But if we can pack the place and really make it something, then the place could be rocking. Could be a lot of new fans and people who maybe haven't been to a game or aren't familiar with it and just kind of saw that we were playing, in their backyard. Hoping that it's a fun time. And I'm getting my salsa lessons.
Let me ask you this, Matt, because I know there's always been sort of this discussion about location for a stadium for Orange County. Obviously, we love Championship Soccer Stadium. The Great Park is awesome. There's a lot of benefits of playing there, like we mentioned, free parking and things of that nature. But what are your thoughts? Do you have a preference? Would you rather the stadium be more in a centralized location or a city type location as opposed to a big park with nothing for, what seems like a mile?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, be careful what you wish for. It's nice that we have free parking and there's a lot of good that comes with the great park. But I'm someone who's always loved the idea of what we were just talking about a second ago, having places to go before the game, after the game, being in a more city kind of center. that to me is like the dream. If we were to build a 10,000 whatever seater stadium, with a little higher standard, but in that spot where the Santa Bowl is, that to me is like ideal, or something like that, and somewhere a lot of people, a lot of fun stuff to do around it, to really give you that better experience of making it a day out of it rather than just pull up for the game, tailgating a little bit, and then going home.
There we go. Let's try and figure this out. Matt, is there anything that scares you about this match as far as the opponent side of things, or even Orange County on the pitch? Is there anything that's scaring you heading into this match?
I wouldn't say scaring me. I mean, Oakland seems to be doing decent. They definitely are going to come and try to put a couple past us. I think we've had a decent home form. It's like you were saying to Coach. Interesting to see how that pans out, considering it's a different surface. It's a different, even just your pregame rituals and such like that might be a little different changing room, all that. So hopefully they can all adapt to that and whatnot. But no, I think it's going to be all right. I could see us with like a 1-0, kind of 2-1, something like that, where we just have our typical game against them and just keep it tight and put a couple past them and give them a good show.
Dylan, your predictions for this match, anything you expect to see on the pitch, and what do you think the final result will be?
This one should be pretty interesting. Oakland can score goals. Now, obviously, they lost 1-0 to Sacramento in the Cup over the weekend. I kind of want to discount that because, again, it's a Cup and it's not necessarily everyone's priority, but largely Oakland can score. So I'm curious to see how their offense does against an Orange County defense, and what is going to be a new and kind of chaotic situation for everybody. All the same, got to back Orange County here. I'm going to give them a 2-1 victory here. I think we can score 2.
You think we can score 2?
It doesn't feel unreasonable. I mean, I feel like your tone there is as if I've said that we're going to win 4-0.
So I like both. I like both of your predictions because you're keeping Oakland's score line low. If you look at the results for Orange County, especially the recent results, in the matches that we've conceded 2 or more goals, it's either been a loss or a draw. Obviously, anytime you concede 1 or less goals, you're putting yourself in a really good opportunity to come away victorious. But I think as we've seen so far this season, and we will continue to see through the remainder of the year, unless there's any big change on the offensive side of things, is we are at our best when we're conceding 1 or less goals in the match. We don't seem like we're built as a team that's going to be able to come out and, score 4 goals and a half to get that come from behind victory. Now, hey, maybe that'll happen at some point this year, but I don't think that is the makeup of this team. I don't think that's a realistic thought. I love what I hear from Coach Stone, that, I think he feels very confident in what he has with his team. The good thing is he has a lot of quality players that can contribute. We'll see what the lineup's going to look like. I'm going to go 2-0 on this match also, or as well, or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Does that sound okay for you, Dylan?
I like the shout of a clean sheet, Ray. I like that.
I want to see it. I want to see this be a celebration. I want to see basically that stadium rocking at the 90th minute. I want to see the fans leaving the stadium like excited, and I want to see what happens after this match. Where do the fans go afterwards? Do they head home, or do they partake in the extra activities that might be available to them at this location, which will be really cool. Woo, fun times, y'all. Fun time. See, it's interesting. And I don't know if Dylan knows this about me. I cannot eat the street dogs. No matter if you tell me they're amazing, they're wonderful, I cannot eat them. I am super weird with what I can and cannot eat. I can go to McDonald's, Jack in the Box, whatever, all day long and eat that food. I cannot eat something from a street vendor that doesn't have like their placard of, authenticity that they're allowed to do it. I can't even eat. If Dylan was to cook and bring something to a potluck, I wouldn't be able to touch his food either. I'm just really weird about that.
So you're saying is you've never been inside of a fast food kitchen, is what you're saying to me.
No, I'm not saying that because I have worked in the food industry. I'm just saying I'm weird. That's all I'm saying.
Yes,
we'll talk about it more off this because I don't think everyone wants to hear all this stuff.
Get yourself a couple beers, have 1 or 2 street dogs after the match. There is probably no greater feeling than knowing you won't be hungover in the morning because you've just consumed $20 worth of hot dogs.
All right. Well, I'm not saying all right, yes, I'll do that, but I'm saying all right, it sounds cool. Let's go and wrap this thing up though before we get in trouble from producer Andy for going off topic and off kilter here. Before we wrap things up, though, is there any other soccer stuff that we want to talk about? I know Matt already asked about Tottenham. I'll just say this. I'm disappointed that Brad's not here so that you and him could team up, because obviously his Everton now holds all the power next week for Tottenham, unless West Ham lose or draw. I mean, West Ham needs to get a win as well, but yeah, that'll be interesting. But I agree with Coach Stone on that. Tottenham is staying up. Sorry, West Ham, you're going down. Dylan's sad because his team isn't even in this conversation, so don't worry about it, Dylan. But any other soccer stuff y'all want to talk about? And if not, we'll wrap things up. So you can nod yes, shake no, whatever you want to do.
It's an audio primary format. I'm sad that DK's not here to revel in his beloved Arsenal having won the title. Now, Ray, to pose you a quick question. Does it hurt more that your team might get relegated on Saturday, or that your biggest rivals have just won the league?
It's not his team anymore.
It's true.
It's technically not my team right now. It may change next season. I may have.
So 5 years ago, this might have felt different then. Am I correct in to bring it all back to?
Well, 10 years ago, this felt horrible when Chelsea just started punching us and took us away from the championship and let Leicester win. But that's a totally different thing. Also, just a reminder for the match this coming weekend, since we're doing soccer-related topics here, the match will be available on KCOW Plus. I still don't know how to use that, but hopefully those of you that want to watch the match know how to use it. Dylan, you don't even live in the area? Matt, do you know how to use KCOW 9 Plus?
Not even a little bit. No.
Don't dox me like that, Raymond.
How do you use it, Dylan? Share with us.
Well, I don't actually know. I'm furiously trying to look. Perhaps, yes, thank God.
The old man has to come in and teach you whippersnappers how the television works in the 80s. So when you have high def TV, there's television signals flying through the air right now, and if you have an antenna that can capture those signals, your TV can display those TV channels for free. So all the local LA channels you can get for free. I personally just bought a new TV 10 days ago. I plugged in the coax that goes to my antenna, clicked the button, and boom, I had all the local channels. KCOW Plus is on a channel called 9.6. I don't know what that means. I just know that's the number I go to see KCOW Plus. Mostly they show cartoons and Family Feud. And every once in a while, there is a Ontario Reign hockey game. There is maybe an Inland Empires Strikers, whatever they're called, Empire Strikers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember now.
Yes, correct.
There's a handful of Orange County Soccer Club games on KCOW Plus.
So what you're saying,
a long form YouTube video about how to set up your TV to watch over the air.
So what you're saying, producer Andy, is that maybe we can get a collabo with Steve Harvey, since we're on the same network as Family Feud reruns. That would be really cool, actually. Let's get our players on an episode of the show. Now let's wrap things up. What either a random thought or what did you learn in this episode? I'll go to you first, Matt.
2 quick random thoughts. One, I appreciate the brain blast earlier that I had from talking about Mo War on the wing, because look it up. Victor Moses, 2017 Antonio Conte, turned him into a winger that was riding the bench, who was trying to get into the team, into arguably one of the best wing backs in the world, and took Chelsea to a title. So I've forgotten about that. So I appreciate you bringing up Mo War, because I can't believe I haven't made that connection yet. 2, 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, 3 points against Tottenham.
Oh man, I knew coming into this episode, I was gonna just drop out last minute just to mess with y'all, but I couldn't leave it just Matt and Dylan
Oh, and
here.
Shelby
that
Alonso
would have been fun. Dylan, do you have a random thought or a thing that you learned in this episode?
Yeah, I did learn that beloved listener Maddie King here truly every single week made the podcast for her Mies in Tomodachi. So I would love to see that. Maybe we can get that on our socials. And I hope it's just as chaotic in the digital world as it is for us. So
I know Maddie, I'm old because I thought she misspelled Tamagotchi, and I was like, what?
Maddie, thank you for always listening. Really, for everybody, thank you for always listening to this chaos.
I'm interested now. Did Matt have a Tamagotchi when he was younger?
100%. Everyone did.
And did were you the type of person though that tried to keep it alive, or were you one of those maniacal people that reset button on the back
every other day? I would have to hit that reset button on the back with a little pencil.
Matt's the type of person
on
playing
purpose.
Sims. Matt plays Sims and he builds 4 walls around his sim and doesn't let them
do anything. Drop him in the pool with no ladder out? Come on. Everyone's done it.
We got to focus. We got to get back on track. We're getting that message from our producer Andy here, so we'll do so. I'm going to do that by just not even giving a random thought or any idea or what I learned, because we've got to wrap things up. I do want to, though, remind everyone, if you liked our show, you liked what we had to say, if you like when we talk about this random stuff, let us know on social media by giving us a like, thumbs up, high five, share, tag, whatever social media thing we can throw on there. Do what you got. Tag us on your post about the Orange County Soccer Club, and maybe we'll reply to you. We'll respond to you. Who knows? We'll try to be friendly. We'll try to be nice. With that said, I want to thank everyone involved in the show, including my co-hosts, Matt, Dylan, producer Andy, our special guest tonight, Coach Danny Stone. This has been the Orange and Black SoccerCast. We are out.